Hi folks, Martin here. As a follow-up to my first video on advanced greens at signalized intersections, in this video, I'm going to give you a few more tips on how to make those busy intersections flow smoothly. So here we are playing City Skylines once again. And we're going to take a look at the traffic flow for this intersection to see how it's working. So I'm going to go over to the info view for traffic. And you can see it's a little on the red side. This particular intersection isn't that bad, but it's a little red and maybe there's some things we can do to make some improvements. But before we make some improvements, we got to figure out what's going wrong. So let's zoom in a little closer. Well, we got a lot of pedestrians here, that's for sure, with the bus stop. And oh, it looks like we got cars trying to turn left and cars trying to drive through at the same time. So we've got some conflicting turning movements. So we'll just keep watching it to see what happens here. There's not too many vehicles going through right now, but I think we've already identified what the two major problems at this intersection are. One is pedestrian conflicts and the other is conflicts with left-turning vehicles. So now that we know what those two problems are, let's go ahead and fix them. Step number one is we're going to create directly opposing left turn lanes in the east-west direction. We're going to create a dedicated left turn lane in the north-south direction, but because of some of the limitations of the Skylines game, we're unable to make them directly opposing. So I'll demonstrate. So first of all, we're going to go over to the road tool, and we're going to find the road that's 4 lanes and has a dedicated turning lane, and that's it there. So I click on it, and then I want to change this road. So the way I do it is highlight the exclamation mark, which is upgrade road. Now, it says upgrade road, but it'll change the road either up or down, whatever, based on whatever road you've selected. So let's do that and make that happen at the intersection on both sides. And we'll go back a little ways to give us some room and to give us some storage space for our left turn lanes. So we've done it in that direction. Now for the other direction, the only option we really have is to use the Traffic Manager President's Edition. And oops, I clicked on the wrong, there it is there, Traffic Manager President's Edition menu. So that's a mod that I use a lot. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to go to this button right here, the change lane arrows. So change lane arrows, and I'm going to click on this approach to the intersection. And you can see here for lane 1, it's got left turns and straight throughs. I'm going to click on that and just take that right out. So you can see the arrow has now changed to left only. We'll move over to the other side of the intersection, and we're going to do the same thing. You can see the left lane here is left and straight through, and we're going to make it a dedicated left. So now we have dedicated left turn lanes, north and south, and we have dedicated directly opposing left turn lanes in the east-west direction. And I'm just calling them by the cardinal name just for reference purposes. So that's the first step in cleaning up this intersection. Now we move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is pretty easy. We're going to use the Traffic Manager President's Edition again. And again, as you can tell, I use that mod a lot. And we're going to use that to force traffic to turn into their proper lane. So I'll click on this button here, the Lane Connector button. And if I just highlight that, you'll see these little dots appear. And I'm really only concerned mainly about the left turn lanes in this particular case. So I click on that one and make sure he turns into that lane. I click on that one. I make sure he turns into his nearest lane. I click on that one. Again, he turns into that lane. And I click on that one, and I'll make sure he turns into that lane. So everybody's behaving themselves. So that will force those vehicles to stick to those lanes. So that's step number 2. Now on to step number 3. we're going to use the Traffic Manager's President's Edition mod to create customized traffic signal phasing in step number 3. And this is the most complicated phase, and I'm not suggesting you want to do this at every intersection, but you might want to use this as a solution at specified intersections where you're having particular problems. So once again, we go over to the Traffic Manager President's Edition mod, and we're going to go to the timed traffic light button. We click on that, and we select a node. In this case, just one intersection. So we click on it, and we've selected our intersection. And then we go back over here to the left, and we're going to set up time traffic light. So everything's red to start out with, and we're going to add a step. Okay, so step number 1. Now, before I actually get into the steps and creating the phases, I want to point out once again a little tiny button, and I'll zero in as close as I can so that you can see it. It's the change mode button. And if you're not zooming in, it's hard to see, but that button is the key to this signal timing phase thing that we're going to do today. So if you click on it, you'll see that it has basically signals that will be directly related to that particular lane. So you can control a single lane movement, and we can create our dedicated left turn lane. So let's do the same thing over on the left-hand side. Sorry, that's the right-hand side. So in this phase, that's going to be red, that's going to be red, and I'm going to make the left turn green and the left turn green. And I'm also going to change this to red. Manual red, and I think that went back to auto on me. Yeah, I want that red. I don't want those pedestrians walking. I don't want them walking or them walking. So I've got left and left. So let's give them some significant time to get around. And for purposes of the example, we'll go 10 and 10. And we'll add that as a step. Okay, now we got to add another step. So this time we're going to turn off the left turn lanes, and we're going to let them go straight through and right, straight through and right. And we're going to let the pedestrians go this time with these guys. And again, we'll make it fairly lengthy. We'll add that step. Next step is to make these all red. Sorry, did I add a step? Oh, I got to add a step. So I add a step, and these all go red. That goes don't walk, red, red, and don't walk. So in this case over here, we've got to do the same thing, and that is got to give them dedicated lanes. Sorry, dedicated signal phasing is what I meant to say. So here we've hit the change mode button again, which I've zoomed in as close as I can on my, just a little bit closer so you can see it. So in this phase, it's going to be, I'm going to put it on manual, no pedestrians, but you can make a left-hand turn and make a left-hand turn here, manual, and I don't want to see any pedestrians yet. And we'll make that for 10, and we'll add it. And then the last step is we'll make it red for the left turn lane and green to go through. Red, green, green. Make it green for the pedestrians, green for the pedestrians, and then we will add that. So now we have our 4 phases, and we'll hit start. So right now you can see the signals going, and I probably should take that out of the way so we can see how it actually works. Again, this isn't an intersection with the most traffic, that you're likely going to see, but it's something as an example that'll help you select or choose this type of option if you want to. So now the pedestrians are going across. That should be okay. We've got going through and right turns, which is what we wanted. And I realized that when it comes to pedestrians, you could also put a pedestrian overpass in, but that's not always possible. So this is using the signal timing as a solution for you if you have assets in the way, such as a subway or a hospital that you don't want to move. So there you can see the dedicated left turns happening. They're doing it unimpeded. They're not conflicting with the pedestrians. And I just want to wait to see the other side, see if that happens the same way. I don't have a lot of traffic right now, but it's working pretty well. And again, it's a lot of work to do this type of solution. And I realize that just about every intersection in this game, that for whatever reasons, I can't explain it, but the vehicles run over the pedestrians. So you're never going to get away from that. So I'm not suggesting that you should try to stop that from happening at every intersection, because I don't think it's worth your while. So these solutions are really just for those particular intersections where you're having these problems. Problems with left-turning vehicles conflicting with the through movement, and problems with pedestrians holding up your traffic. So that's my tutorial on advanced greens part 2. If you have any comments, feel free to add the comments below. I'd like to hear them. If you like what I said, or you had some questions, or it wasn't clear, I'd like feedback if you can give it to me. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.